Nah, it's still long. I'll review the movie. Alright, I'll review the movie. I'll review the movie. I'll review the movie.
Why don't you give me your love? Give me your love.
A Monster Calls is a movie based on the novel with the same title, A Monster Calls, which that's the cover over there. And this movie is directed by J.A. Bayona, who I believe will be directing the sequel to Jurassic World. In this movie, A Monster Calls tells us the story of the 12-year-old boy named Connor. And in this movie, Connor is being bullied in school. Not just that, his mother, played by Felicity Jones, is having this sickness that Connor's mom is having. And now that Connor must stay up with his grandmother, who's played by Sigourney Weaver. And then one night, a monster, played by Nesson, shows up to him and tells him 3 stories, which made Connor believe that his mother might actually survive the sickness that his mother is actually having. First of all, some of you guys may be asking, how do I get to see this movie this early? Well, that's because my country got an early release for this movie, which is kind of awesome. And when it comes to this movie, I was kind of curious what this movie was going to be about. Until I watched the trailer, the movie gave me this feel about how the movie was going to be. It's actually just like my favorite movie, which that's the poster over there, which I cannot tell you what the title is until December. And in this movie started up with a regular start, like how Connor tries to do things in life, and then suddenly there's the scene where he gets bullied, and then suddenly there's the conflict between Connor's mother and then with Connor's grandmother and also Connor's father. And then we start to skip to the scene where we wanted to see Liam Neeson's character as the monster. To be honest, there were lots of plot twists in this movie, and I'm very surprised. Like, we wanted to get this scene, but suddenly we get to this scene instead. And then some of the plot twists tries to reveal the good side of the character and the bad side of the character, like the dark version of it. And however, about the short story, there were lots of animation in this movie, and the animations were actually very great. I enjoy like how they try to visualize the short story that they're trying to explain. Now this is not a collection of short stories, but they're like stories explained in this movie, and the story was actually very enjoyable. They were very narrative. Liam Neeson had a good explanation trying to talk about the story, like how the monster tries to interact with Connor when they try to tell the stories. However, the animation was very good. The score for this movie was great. However, I wish they could have done more. Like, there was one scene that was natural scene, and then there's one scene that had to include the score, which is very necessary to put. And I understand how the movie works, because there's some scenes that had to be natural, and then there's some scenes that had to add the score in it, like it tries to be dramatic in this movie. However, everyone's performance is great. Sigourney Weaver playing as the grandmother is not a bad character after all. And however, Felicity Jones' character as the mother is not bad, but she's actually remarkable. She's memorable in this movie. Either I don't like her haircut in this movie, but I think she has a good role in this movie. I mean, she's lovable, and then she's remarkable. Like, she give us a heartwarming temper. And then suddenly, MacDougall, yeah, that's his name if I'm not mistaken, his role in this movie was very great, playing as the 12-year-old boy Connor, and his role was very talented. I enjoy seeing him, how he tries to act with his mother, how he tries to act with the bullying scene, and also how he tries to interact with Liam Neeson's character as the monster. However, there's also Toby Kebbell's character. Now, Toby Kebbell was one character that I will enjoy seeing in this movie. He plays as the father who tries to be good. He tries to be a good father, but then he had to move to America for some reasons. His character was actually great after all. Like, he's trying to be, oh, come on, calm down, please, Connor, we did this. Like, he's a calm character. He's not a bad character after all. And let's not forget about Liam Neeson's character as the monster. His character was actually great. He's actually great as the monster. He tries to be a friendly monster, and as he tries to explain the story. And yes, his character was very enjoyable in this movie. However, in this movie did not want you to enjoy this movie. This movie was not trying to entertain you, but this movie is trying to make you understand how the world works, like how you feel in life. So basically, if you're a 12-year-old boy, you must understand how does the world works, like how people live in life. Like, it's time that we move on, how we grow up and that. However, I have to say this, but A Monster Calls is just like my favorite movie, but with a simple twist and a single touch. Yes, this movie was actually amazing. I think they could have done more, actually. Yep, this movie was not much like my favorite movie, which is basically different to this movie. But I think this movie is already enough for me. If this movie won an Oscar, that would be very awesome to hear this movie getting an Oscar. So that was my review on A Monster Calls. I tried my best to tell you what I think about the movie. Like, I'm trying to think of my words, like how am I going to say this movie. This movie is actually not bad after all. That's I can say. The movie was not a bad movie after all. as I try to review the movie. I try to explain everything. Like, I'm trying to use my words, and it's so hard for me to use the right words to say how Monster Calls is supposed to be. But that was my review on the Monster Calls. If you've seen the movie, tell me what you think in the comments below. And if you're going to see this movie, tell me if you're going to see this movie in the comments below. Alright, I got nothing to say about this. I can't memorize my words for seeing this movie, so here's the outro. That is all for this video. If you do enjoy this video, give it a like. That would be very helpful. And in the description, you'll find 2 links where you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. I appreciate you guys for watching this, and I'll see you another time. Bye-bye.